The season of discontent rolls into Philadelphia. Can the Vikings stun Michael Vick and the Eagles today? Chris Kluwe talks game day. It was alumni weekend. One of the 50 greatest Vikings to wear the purple is here. And McAllister Soccer is center stage in the minute. It's all ahead. It's Game On.
We have the most passionate fans in the country. And for them to come out here and experience this thing is something that they always heard about from their parents and grandparents, but for them it's going to be a special day. I can see the enthusiasm out here.
And the owner loved to be outdoors. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you've had a great holiday weekend. A belated Merry Christmas to you, and happy Boxing Day to our friends in Canada. Rod Simon's here. It's Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill. And yes, the Vikings, 2 games left in their regular season, both on the road. Now we have the game behind us that was outdoors. It was festive, it was fun, but it didn't turn out all that great for the Minnesota Vikings, losing to the Chicago Bears. Their home finale is over, and they have their work cut out for them in Philadelphia today. And breaking it down by the numbers, this is what it looks like. In Philadelphia today, the Eagles are the toast of the NFC East. They lead the New York Giants by a game. They're 10-4 on the season. Michael Vick, you gotta say, is MVP worthy. Look at his numbers last week. 10 rushes for 130 yards and 1 touchdown. And then with his arm, 21 for 35, 242 with 3 touchdowns. No wonder the Eagles have won 6 of their last 7 games. It will be a busy day for the Minnesota Vikings tonight against the Eagles. And delighted to have with us number 5, the punter, Chris Kluwe. Thank you for being here.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having me.
And a belated happy birthday. He's a Christmas Eve baby. That's very cool.
Lots of presents at one point in the year.
Tons, birthday and Christmas. I've always wondered what that would be like.
It's good for that 2 days of the year, and then the rest of the time, all your friends are getting presents in the summer, and it kind of sucks.
Now you're a dad. Is your little one old enough to understand Christmas yet and all that?
Our eldest one is. She's about 2.5, so she's starting to get the hang of Santa Claus. So she wanted a little pink laptop from Target this year. So yeah, we got her a little pink laptop.
Indeed. Last 2 games were on the road. There was a lot of talk about playing outdoors. I found it to be a little bit, at least being there, a little anticlimactic. It was kind of fun being out there. Was it for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience that we'll be able to tell our kids, you know, hey, we played outside at TCF. You know, it was the first outdoor game in, 28 years, yeah. I think, something like that. And, you know, it was a good fan experience, I think. Playing experience, the conditions, you know, were a little rough. We had the wind and the snow, and, you know, the field was a little slick at times, but you know, it was a fun game. It was good to be a part of it.
You made a little bit of headlines before with the Twitter, because, you know, I talked just a little bit. We talked to Bryant McKinney a couple weeks ago, and he's got 30,000 followers on Twitter. I know you have thousands as well, but you were talking about the conditions, and you were being as truthful as you could be. And you caught a little bit of...
Yeah. I mean, you'd almost think I'd, insulted someone's daughter or something. It was a lot of feedback. But, you know, I mean, we went out for our walkthrough on Sunday, and the field was hard. You know, yeah. It was icy, and it didn't feel like a safe field to play on. And all credit to the TCF people. They did a great job getting it ready between Sunday and Monday night. I mean, it was night and day, the improvement that happened. So. And
give credit where credit is due. Afterwards, you thanked everybody and gave high five and said, you know, it was a great experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, at the time on Sunday, I didn't think it was going to be a good game environment for us to play in, but, you know, it ended up being all right. You know, we had enough traction. The guys weren't slipping around too bad, and, you know, we were able to play the game.
You know, it's interesting, too. I heard a smattering of boos during the game.
A smattering?
I'm trying to be polite. But you had maybe the toughest job next to Brett Favre's, in that you had to punt away from Devin Hester, who is the best kick returner in the National Football League, and that ain't easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really dynamic returner. You know, as you saw the one time I wasn't able to get out of bounds, right. And he took it back for a touchdown. So, I mean, the game plan was pretty much, you know, we're going to put it out of bounds every time. We're not going to worry about how far it goes, and I think, you know, 5 out of 6 punts I succeeded with that. Unfortunately, the one where I didn't, you know, he found a seam and shot straight up the field.
What's it like playing with Brett Favre?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, he's a great guy. He's fun to be around. His enthusiasm for the game is infectious. I mean, he's just a joy to be around.
And it does look like you guys are having a good time down there. The score doesn't always indicate it, but I can tell there is a camaraderie amongst this team.
Yeah. I mean, Brett, you know, really brought a lot of guys together. You know, he has that experience. He's been there before, and he's just a guy that guys can rally around. I mean, he's a natural leader.
We're going to have more with Chris Kluwe when we come back. Lots to talk about. He's rock and roller, in case you didn't know. I know many of you do know that. We'll get to that in just a minute. Don't forget, you can join us for a taping. Game On at Courtside Bar and Grill here in Anoka. A lot of autographs, tickets for free, great food. You can play the darts, the big screens, everything. It's Tuesdays right here in Anoka. When we come back, more with number 5, one of the all-time 50 greatest Vikings will be with us a little later, and the MIAC Minute as well. It's all ahead. It's Game On.
So, you're looking for a night out with the guys. Guy stuff. Sports. Beer. Fun. What about catching a Wolves game? The Guys Night Out package gives you a ticket, beer, hot dog, and a chance to meet the Timberwolves dancers, all for just $15. That sounds like guy stuff. Log on to timberwolves.com to get your tickets today.
How to order a pizza. Step 1, decide on toppings. And Pizza Man says, remember, cheese is included and only extra cheese is considered a topping. Step 2, pickup or delivery. And if you choose delivery, don't forget to tip the delivery person. Step 3, call Pizza Man for the TV special. Step 4, call Pizza Man in Anoka, home of the heavy toppings.
Honey, check the baby monitor.
She's sleeping.
Hey, Papa.
What? Sophie?
What'd you get Mom?
For what?
For Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
She wants jewelry from Thurber Jewelers. She wants diamonds.
Well, I was kind of thinking.
Diamonds!
Okay. Shh. Go back to sleep.
This year, give her a gift that everyone knows she will love at Thurber Jewelers in Elk River.
Well, as soon as I heard it was coming to the bank, I went through my entire contact list to find somebody who I knew who had season tickets, and I talked them into selling them to me. So I'm loving this.
Welcome back. It's game day. Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill. Great to have you with us, Rod, and Vikings punter Chris Kluwe. And we just heard from one of the thousands of fans that were waiting in line to get into TCF Bank Stadium in the cold just the other day before the Bears game. And you guys were safely inside, but you knew there were thousands of people lined up waiting to get in.
Yeah. We saw the queues as the buses were pulling in, and I mean, there was people lined up around the block. It was looked like pandemonium.
And it was very cool, and they were all, and for the most part, the ones we talked to, in relatively good spirits. Now, just the last segment, we were talking about Twitter, and I was asking Chris how many followers he has. I was stunned to know, you told me Visanthe Shenko has 65,000?
Yep, 65,000.
And Brian McKinney told us he has over 30,000, and you're just below 10,000, right?
Right, I'm around 8,200, although I will say the 1,500 or so I've picked up in the last couple days are a little angrier than the rest of my fans.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it must be something in the water.
Now remember, this man's under contract for a few years, so you're stuck with him, and I'm delighted to say that we're glad to have you as a punter. When you look at your progression from when you signed, and I remember, wasn't it, you came from Seattle after a tryout in Seattle?
Yeah, I was with Seattle in the preseason my rookie year, and then the Vikings claimed me off waivers.
And you've progressively gotten better. What has been the key to that growth?
Just getting more comfortable in what I'm doing in the league, you know, kind of getting used to the speed of the game, and then just being able to be relaxed out there and kick like I know how to kick.
And there is strategy when it comes to how you're going to punt. We learned that from the Devin Hester situation, but every game presents new challenges, the fields, the players, all that.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing that a lot of people, you know, I think it's tough for them to grasp, is that punting is just as much an art as field goal kicking, throwing the football, tackling, anything like that. You have to put hours and hours of practice into it, and it's easy enough to say, hey, punt it out of bounds, but actually punting it out of bounds and still getting a decent punt out of it is a little bit harder than it looks.
Do your teammates give you a ration when, like the Twitter thing last week?
A little bit. I mean, you know, I'm not going to speak for anyone besides myself, but sentiments were, you know, pretty much in the same court that I was in.
That's great. Now, tell us about your rock and roll exploits. Tripping Icarus is your band. Tell us about it.
So Tripping Icarus is a band. It's me, Andy Reiner, he's our guitarist, Matt Marshall is our drummer, and then Jesse Revel is our singer/lead guitarist. And we're a rock and roll band. We play kind of the grunge 90s alternative type rock, kind of almost that Seattle era type rock. Audioslave, Soundgarden, Nirvana, kind of like that. And you know, we're there to have a good time and you know, hopefully make some really good music.
Have you always been into rock and roll since you were knee high, or what?
No, actually it started with Guitar Hero. It was I played violin for about 7 years growing up, so I had a musical background, and then I started playing Guitar Hero and got really good at it, and then I was like, hey, I should probably learn how to play the real guitar. And I was friends with Andy at the time, and he had been in a band, so we started a band.
And believe it or not, you actually play dates. Just last week you played First Ave.
Right, the 7th Street entry.
And so will there be more of those before the season ends, or what can fans expect if they want to see you, you know?
Well, that was our last one for this year. We're hoping to do a couple more in March when I get back. But if you check my Twitter page, usually I'll update the dates as soon as we get them.
Give us all that stuff, the information, so they can be one of your followers on
Okay,
Twitter.
I am Chris Warcraft on Twitter, sort of a reference to my World of Warcraft video game playing days. And then the band is Tripping Icarus. You can find them on Facebook. And, you know, follow us. We're entertaining.
And we'll put all those links on our website at GameOnTVMN.com. Don't forget, you can get all the show playbacks, all the information, our bloggers, everybody is right there. It's GameOnTVMN.com with also links to PurplePride.org, the most outstanding Viking fan site, right there at your fingertips. So thanks for being with us, Mr. Kluwe.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great to have you here. Happy holidays to you, and good luck in Philadelphia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. More ahead. This is Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill.
Wallingberg and Diebly believes in families. We understand and support families in all their many forms. And when legal problems arise in the family, Wallingberg and Diebly is there. Wallingberg and Diebly, the premier family law firm of Minnesota. When you need us, call 612-326-3453 or visit wbdlaw.com.
River City Saloon is the place for food, music, fun, and bikers. Bikers get the best parking spot, and inside, from business people to bikers, everyone's going to have a great time. Create your own bucket list at the River City Saloon. There are specials every night of the week and live music all weekend. Get us online at hollysrivercitysaloon.com. And look for the awning just off Main and Anoka, right in the heart of the historic Anoka Entertainment District. See you soon at the River City Saloon.
It's awesome. Cold weather, snow, and outdoor football. We gotta love it. It's excellent.
Welcome back. It's Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill. Great to have you with us on this game day. Rod Simons and one of the 50 greatest, number 83, Stu Voigt in the house.
Nice to be here,
Good
Rod.
to have you here.
Welcome.
What is it like, even after all those years, to put the purple jersey on again, especially the throwback that is just so gorgeous?
Well, I'm certainly proud to put it on. I haven't put it on in 30 years, if you can believe that, but to put it on with some of the guys I played with and to meet some of the great younger Vikings who are in the 50 greatest, it was a big thrill to walk out on that field at TCF Stadium.
Yeah, and it was a weekend of remembrance and camaraderie on the Sunday night, a week ago already, the big gala at the convention center, and then in the snow and the wind, all you guys were out on the field. That had to be emotional.
Well, it was emotional. Also felt like old school football because so many of those great games I played in were at the Met Stadium where it was cold and windy and the turf was slick and hard. So it was a big thrill. I mean, I was fortunate to broadcast after playing some of these years with the Vikings, so I actually kind of spanned the gap. And there was a lot of great memories from the Grady Aldermans who came in 1961 to the Chris Carters who played in the 90s and the years in the 2000s. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of great players past these Viking gates.
And I've been blessed to be able to talk to you about it over the last couple of weeks about just what those old days were like. And you were kind of having fun with it because there was a little bit of belly aching, if you will, from some of the current players about the cold, the playing outside and all that. And you said, hey, back in the day, we used to have, grass doesn't grow here in December, and it was a hard ground. Tell us that.
Well, Met Stadium, of course, the Twins played at Met Stadium, then would take it over after the Twins got done. And, of course, no grass grows in December, so it was just dirt painted green for the TV, and it was hard and it was rough, but actually I think that was to the advantage of the Vikings. We were used to playing in cold weather, and would play some of those great Ram teams or Cowboy teams or Redskin teams. And I think that really gave us just that little bit of advantage, which propelled us to get so many great victories in the playoffs there at Met Stadium.
You saw Ziggy Wilf's smile. It was from ear to ear. That man wants to be outside. It's time to get the stadium issue behind us.
Well, I think there's some motivation now with the dome going down in that crazy fashion with all the snow. And
right.
The fact is the Vikings are up against it. They've got some other places to go, and I think this would be a lonely place without the Vikings. And I've got to say the Wilfs, Ziggy and Mark have done everything possible to make this a great football team. They've paid the money for the big high-profile players. They've put on great galas like they did on Sunday night to keep the alumni and the fans involved. So I hope for the Vikings of the future and the Wilf family that something gets done and we get a real great stadium, kind of like that TCF stadium, which is great, and that's probably where the Vikings will play for a couple of years until the stadium's built.
In transition, right. Okay, stay with us. More to come in just a moment. We first got to tell you about who's hot and who's cold this week, brought to us by Liberty Comfort Systems. And we were just talking about it. Who's hot? It's got to be the University of Minnesota. Great job. If you missed it, you missed a lot. It was a great night under the stars, under the cold, under the snow at TCF Bank Stadium. It was the substitute for the Metrodome. Fans had a great time. There was a great atmosphere. Best of all, the University of Minnesota rallied and served a home game for fans. Well needed. The finale of the season taken in, and the only bad thing was the Vikings couldn't find a way to win. Cold, gotta be the omission of number 11 Vikings alum Joe Kapp from the 50 greatest. Now this is just my feeling, but I love number 11 as one of the top quarterbacks for the Vikings. He really exemplified the purple work ethic back in the day. He led the Vikings to their first Super Bowl, Super Bowl IV against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he was really the man behind 40 for 60. Joe Kapp, one of the greatest in my books. That's Liberty Comfort Systems. Who's hot? Who's cold? Up next, more with Stu. Teri Knight is in the house, and the MIAC Minute. It's all ahead. It's game on.
What's your 99? Wendy's new 99-cent everyday value menu now has even more tasty ways to get what you want for 99 cents.
My 9 for 99. My 9 for 99.
The all-new Bacon 99er with thick applewood smoked bacon, or the new crispy chicken Caesar wrap with tender all-white meat chicken.
99.
My 99.
We got your 99.
Now there's 9 tasty choices for 99 cents.
How to order a pizza. Step 1, decide on toppings. And Pizza Man says, remember, cheese is included and only extra cheese is considered a topping. Step 2, pickup or delivery. And if you choose delivery, don't forget to tip the delivery person. Step 3, call Pizza Man for the TV special. Step 4, call Pizza Man in Anoka, home of the heavy toppings.
When I was a kid, my neighbor had season tickets, and he always bailed on the cold weather games, so I ended up getting the tickets to the cold weather games, and I drove down from St. Cloud, and I loved every minute of it.
Welcome back. It's game day. It's Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill. Do you have a nice holiday?
I sure have. Yeah, wonderful. I love the holiday season, especially in Minnesota, very much like my home state of Wisconsin, and it feels like Christmas time.
Okay, I got some things to ask you about. First of all, the holes in this team. There's a lot of work to do during the offseason, maybe more than like in the past decade for these Minnesota Vikings.
I think there is. I think, first of all, they're going to have to settle on the quarterback situation, which is still the most important position in football. Right. I think they need to shore up their secondary. They've had some injuries, and have some age, maybe find some safety. So all of a sudden, this team, which I thought would make a run for the Super Bowl, has some holes that have to be addressed. But I think the Wilf family will draft well, but also I think they're willing to maybe get in the market for some free agents. But number one is let's settle on a quarterback that'll play here the next 5-7 years.
Will Leslie Frazier be their next coach, you think?
I think right now the jury's out. I think, first of all, he's a good coach. He's in an audition period. These next 2 games against the Eagles and the Lions away from home are big, because quite frankly, the Vikings haven't played well in the last couple of weeks.
Indeed. Now, I know that outside of football, you have stayed very, very active on the charity front. You have a number of different charities that you work with, including the NFL Alumni, and their Caring for Kids evening is coming up in February, and it really is helping a handful of different charities for kids.
Well, we've been doing that for so many years and raised over couple $1 million for charities. We pass it out to all kids-related charities, and we do a great job. It's a great evening. It's kind of a raffle. You can win some money, get some prizes, get some great autographs, and of course all the Viking alumni, plus a lot of the NFL alumni who now live in the Twin Cities will be there. So it's a lot of fun.
Happiest of holidays to you.
Thank you, my friend.
One of the 50 greatest Vikings, Stu Voigt in the house, number 83. Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
Don't forget, you can stay up on the NBA with our Wolves blog. Go to Simon Says at timberwolves.com. It's a great website. All the inside information on the team. Strong viewpoints, too, on the basketball team. Interactive it is, so drop me a note. It's Rod at GameOnTVMN.com. And look for Simon Says every Thursday morning. It's at timberwolves.com. Okay, enough football. Teri Knight is in the house. Couple hours after Christmas time, all the presents are open. But there's an idea for some of the guys out there that can actually go to their gal and say, I got an idea, and you got it for them.
I do, Rod. You know, you might think that growing herbs indoors is a little tough. It's not. And the added bonus of fresh herbs for cooking, oh, take a look. As we gather around the TV and nestle in for a Vikings win, I want to share with you my favorite indoor plants, herbs. With the right conditions, growing herbs indoors is a delight to the eyes as well as the taste buds. Start with a light soil mix, perlite, a place in the sun, a good container, and your selections. I've planted sage, thyme, parsley, oregano, chives, and I'm going to add Purple Ruffles basil. And like a Vikings fan, Purple Ruffles basil is more intense and needs extra TLC, more light and more humidity. When you're planting, grab the stems at the soil level, gently lift out, and place in your container. Now water very well, letting the water run through the container into the saucer, then empty your saucer. Because your herbs are planted indoors, you'll need to add fertilizer. I use a half-strength fish emulsion once a month. Placing your herb garden in a south or west-facing window is ideal. I've added supplemental lighting. This is a cool white fluorescent bulb. You can't use an incandescent light because it doesn't give off enough blue rays for plant health. Another tip, if you have bugs, is to use insecticidal soap. Now, it's easy to use and safe for consumption, but please read the label first. You have this beautiful herb garden, now what? Well, to keep the plants healthy, you do want to pinch the tops off to keep them growing bushier, and of course, so you can use them. I found a fantastic recipe for fresh herb dressing. I'll have the recipe along with a lot more information on my website, urbansprite.com, or you can log on to GameOnTVMN.com for a link. I'm Teri Knight, and that's your Garden Bite on Game On.
When you need to move around the metro, call on City View White Knight Limousine. They take care of us with town cars, limousines, SUVs. City View is safe, reliable, and they will handle your needs. Get them on the web at cityviewlimo.com.
Everything that goes into a Lennox system is engineered for absolute comfort. Like the parts that create your perfect temperature and humidity, or the parts that purify the air. Together, all these parts save you up to half off your heating and cooling bills. And there are few things more comforting than that.
The future of home comfort is here now at Liberty Comfort Systems.
Get the latest in innovation and technology at Liberty Comfort Systems.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Wallingberg and Deebly believes in families. We understand and support families in all their many forms. And when legal problems arise in the family, Wallingberg and Deebly is there. Wallingberg and Deebly, the premier family law firm of Minnesota. When you need us, call 612-326-3453 or visit wbdlaw.com.
Welcome back. It's Game On, powered by Courtside Bar and Grill. Great to have you with us on this game day. Time now for our MIAC Minute. Delighted to have with us the McAllister men's soccer coach. It's Ian Barker. Thank you, Coach, for being here.
Thank you
Great
for having me.
You in the house.
Cheers.
And when we talk about men's soccer, it doesn't matter what division level you are at, D1, D3, you know how to win, and this McAllister team is special.
Yeah, we had a good group this year. We've had a good group for the last couple of years. And we've had a pretty good sustained period of success over the last dozen years or so. So it's been a good run.
It's important, too, because people need to know that you were at Wisconsin at the D1 level, championships there, too.
Yeah, I was Wisconsin for 8 years with all the bells and whistles of Division I. And we were lucky enough in 1995 to win the Division I National Championship. But I found that being in Division III is probably actually a better fit for me, and I can still have all the competitive juices satisfied.
Is it harder because the kids aren't scholarshiped? Does it make it that much more difficult?
Well, actually, it makes it a little bit easier to some extent, because all the kids that are with you want to be at that institution, whereas at Wisconsin, scholarships mean that sometimes they're a little more mercenary. So I quite enjoy McAllister because every kid is a McAllister student first and a soccer player second.
And when you talk about soccer from your perspective, it goes back to when you were a teenager.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, growing up in England, you start playing when you're 4. And then you play professionally or college, and off you go. So it's been a long run.
And McAllister Soccer has been in the outreach mode as well, from your perspective, because you just came back from a trip to Uganda a few months ago.
Yeah, McAllister's very generous with my time. So when I'm not actively coaching for the team during the season, they let me go off and do some sort of soccer missionary gigs, if you will. And the University of Minnesota, McAllister, and the US State Department sent me to Uganda.
Oh my goodness.
To work with Ugandan coaches in child player development.
It's interesting when we were talking about this because soccer is like football in America to them. And this is more a fundamental approach from your perspective, correct?
Yeah, I mean, in Uganda, as in most of Africa, soccer is the only sport. There is no other sport. So they have a great acquaintance with the sport, but they're not really quite sure how to connect with the youth. It's almost all exclusively adult soccer.
Do any of the kids get to go with you from McAllister? Do they get to go and experience what this is like?
Not on this particular trip, but McAllister does really well with international outreach with its students, so I think that's down the line in the next couple of years.
Keep us posted on next season and how things are going. It's great to have you with us, and more information and our link to McAllister Soccer at GameOnTVMN.com. Coach, thank you. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you for being with us.
Cheers.
And this is what's ahead on the Wheels of Thunder week ahead. The Vikings' final game of this regular season is at Detroit on January 2nd. The Wolves have 2 during this holiday week, the 27th and 29th against New Orleans, and then Denver. The Wild as well, the 29th and 31st. San Jose and Nashville come to town. The Gophers are back in business. Tubby's team January 4th against Indiana. And if the snow is getting you down, spring training is 53 days away. Fort Myers welcoming the Twins, 53 days away. That's your Wheels of Thunder week ahead. Been a busy morning, and that is it for us. Don't forget, go to our game page, GameOnTVMN.com, for all our information. Show links, past shows are all right there at a click of a mouse. GameOnTVMN.com. And we leave you with pictures from the rodeo coming to town at the XL Energy Center in just a couple of weeks. And until next weekend, I'm Rod Simons. From all of us at Game On, thank you and Happy New Year from Game On.